Hello everyone and welcome back to Phasing Forward. My name is Philip and we are beginning a brand new series. We are done with WandaVision for the time being. We still have the complete series review that we want to do. That will be done, like I said in the last episode of WandaVision, that'll be done after this series is complete, like the episode to episode reviews of this series are complete. And then in between the time, in the downtime between this and Loki, we will be doing a complete series review for both series. So with that being said, we are now beginning a brand new series, which you will already know if you're, watching the freaking thing right now, unless you're watching this in the future, in which case, hi people of the future, how's the future of Phase 4 going? Better yet, how's the world in general going? Is the malware gone yet? Anyway. So, with that being said, unfortunately, Zen can't join me for this one, because she's currently getting her laptop fixed. That'll be the case not only for this video, but also for the episode 3 review, because it's just going to take time for her laptop to get fixed and then for it to be shipped back to her. We are unsure of episode 4 yet, but she should be fine for episode 5 and 6. What I'm thinking is, what I'm thinking right now is that if she doesn't show up for episode 4, then we'll just have our guest for episodes 3 and also 4 if Zen doesn't turn up. Stick with us for the entirety of the series. But first and foremost, we have a guest for this video. Introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, it's Casey, aka Miss Nightmare, aka Kana. Oh man, I would say more. I'm a little tired. I came off from a good 8-hour shift at my job today. Yay!
Yeah, everyone loves freaking 8-hour shifts.
And I will kind of say, I love my job. I'm happy I'm back. I get to talk about the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it's been promising, though it's like a very slow start to this series. It's slow.
Yeah, it is a slow start. We are covering episodes 1 and 2 in one video because, like an idiot, I had to keep pushing back the final WandaVision podcast. So that went up last week, and by the time it finally went out, I was just like, I was just like this, and let's wait on doing the first Falcon and Winter Soldier podcast. And then her laptop had to go in to get fixed, so I was like, well, fuck, now I can't do it with Zen. So, Casey, you want to do another podcast for Phasing Forward? Of course, Casey was also in the episode 5 review of WandaVision, which was great. We both had a great time with that. So,
and it was Agatha all along.
It was Agatha all along. Oh no.
Yes. But in this one,
I just love how.
Go ahead.
I just love how, we were saying, oh, I could go either way, when everyone knew there was going to be freaking Agatha Harkness. So we didn't, I don't know why we just said, oh, I could go either way. No, it was going to go one way it was just going to go one way, and that was fucking being Agatha all along.
Hey, we got a great Catherine Hahn performance out of it, and I hope she comes back. And I hope she comes back in the Doctor Strange movie, so that's all I'm saying.
Doctor Strange, maybe not, but, I'm just glad that she'll be coming back in general, because, we need to build up a rogues gallery. I mentioned this in the final WandaVision video, but we need to build up a rogues gallery, since we keep killing villains, which I have no problem with, a lot of these heroes killing villains, because unless your name's Batman or maybe even Spider-Man, then I don't think it's as big of an issue, But with that being said, I also think that, for the sake of having a rogues gallery, we shouldn't be killing our villains all willy-nilly. So,
Yeah.
With that being said, let's head into Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which was originally supposed to be the first Disney Plus show within Phase 4 of the MCU. However, now it's the second Phase 4 show due to COVID screwing filming in the ass, and it was weird because they got most of it shot, and then COVID hit them, and it was like, crap, now we have to shut down production, and then they came back, and after a month to 2 months it was done. So that's good, but now it's to the point where Black Widow, the first movie in Phase 4, is coming out after 3 Disney Plus shows have dropped.
Yeah.
Which is just weird.
And it's like it's been a long 1-year delay of this one particular film, and they're like, okay, screw it, we're just gonna put it on Disney Premiere, and also we're gonna have it in theaters. There. You happy? And we're like, no, you've been holding this film for a year. Why didn't you do it on Premiere Plus?
You can tell that the Marvel side of Disney really didn't want to have to drop this film on Premiere Access. They very much wanted to make it a theater only movie, but after a while, I guess I think Disney themselves were the ones who just said, guys, you can't keep delaying this movie. You have to just drop it on Premiere Access.
Especially with COVID, where it was very hard to just try and figure out when movie theaters would even reopen again to be safe.
Yeah, in my case, movie theaters are all fine and good. You can go to one just you can just go to one fine and there's no issue. But then you have places a lot of places in the US or in the UK, theaters I believe are still closed. So for a lot of people in the world, you can't just make a gamble on theaters just being open. So for that, I get it. I'm gonna go see Black Widow in theaters because
Same.
I'm absolutely not going to drop more than $30 in Australian bucks to see a single movie.
Yeah.
Although I like the fact that they're dropping movies on Disney Plus, I don't mind it. I feel like the fact it's weird because HBO Max and Disney Plus I feel are two sides of are two different extreme sides, whereas HBO Max is dropping all their movies in 2021 or all of Warner Brothers movies for 2021 for free, which I think just completely devalues theaters. Whereas on the opposite side, Disney Plus, I feel is charging way too much for a singular movie.
Here,
I feel
it's also my understanding the Pixar films where they're not being charged Premiere Access. Soul never got that, and Luca is not going to get that either.
Yeah, I feel like that's just Disney undercutting Pixar.
Yes, they really are.
Yeah, it's it just sucks for Pixar in that case. I feel like what they should do is, I feel like they should. It's a good idea to make them both theater and Disney Plus, so that's already a good start. And I feel like what they should do is one or two things. Either one, make it so that once you pay for Premiere Access once, you get every film that ever releases under Premiere Access. So if you buy, let's say if you just paid for Premiere Access with Raya and the Last Dragon, that means that you automatically get Cruella, and you automatically get Black Widow. You automatically get every movie that's under that banner. Just make it so that once you pay for Premiere Access, you get every movie that comes out with Premiere Access. Or, if Disney doesn't want to do that, then just go with the second option, which is just lower the price. Make it so that the price of Premiere Access or for a movie is not no different to if you were to go to a movie theater and buy a ticket there. Just make it a movie ticket for your home,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my take on that. I don't like how HBO Max is doing things, but Disney, although it's a step in the right direction, is just it's too much fucking money. It's too much money for a single movie.
Yeah, it's too much. But the only thing good with Disney Plus is we get to talk about their exclusives like Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, and they also just recently started dropping that Mighty Ducks show, which I gotta watch that. I gotta watch the thing is I want to watch the first 3 Mighty Ducks movies beforehand. So during this week I'm gonna watch those, and then I'm gonna start watching that series week to week.
Okay, I have no opinion on the Mighty Ducks series because I only remember watching the animated cartoon as a kid. That's it.
I have had no thoughts on the Mighty Ducks at all, and no opinion on them at all up until now. But it's a beloved Disney classic from everything I hear, so I may as well watch it.
Yeah, though. Speaking with birds and.
Nice segue.
Yay, my
Nice
tired
segue.
brain. But the Falcon and Winter Soldier is more. We're getting to see Sam Wilson, aka Falcon, And Bucky, the former Winter Soldier, we get this. The series itself takes place 6 months after the events of the blip, which is so weird now to see the actual proper continuity of, this was supposed to be first, but now seeing the more proper continuity of, like, WandaVision took place, like, a few days after the blip, but then you got...
It took place 3 weeks after the blip.
And then this one's, so like, 6 months. Like, oh, okay.
I love how the MCU now is just going completely, like, we're not... Because before, like, phases 1 to 3, it was just the movie takes place, like, the year it comes out. So, like... Thor Ragnarok 2017, Age of Ultron 2015, which doesn't make sense because Infinity War is 2018. So it's like, how does that work? Like, were Thor and Loki and the Asgardians just going, like, we're just drifting in space on the shuttle for months before Thanos attacked them? Like,
it all depends, but we'll find out when we get those other films in the future. But with
I just love how it's all like. Because at this point, if you're gonna jump forward 5 years, it's fine to just completely, go like wherever you want in terms of the continuity.
Oh yeah,
I
mean, especially when you get Far From Home taking place like a good, like, whole school year after
it was like 8. Yeah, it was 8 months after Endgame. I think like Endgame takes place like October 2023 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then and so like Far From Home takes place 8 months. So it's funny to think that like the 2 Disney Plus shows we've gotten up until now have like come before Far From Home. But it's whatevs. It'll be fun to see. It'll be fun to see. Like, this is all like miscellaneous detail. It's just fun to see, like, it's just fun to see, like, post-blip stuff in general. I can't wait till we get to, like, stuff like Miss Marvel and Moon Knight and She-Hulk and characters that, like, had nothing to do with the blip. And just see them, like, because we're focusing on, like, characters here, like, struggling in, like, a post-blip world. But we're focusing on the characters who we already know, where it's just going to be fun, like, with Miss Marvel and stuff to, like, see, the blip happened. It's just an occurrence that happened in this world,
Yep. This one is just also a drama, and they have said this is a rated R series, and I'm like, I'm just waiting for.
Wait, who said that this was a rated R series?
I saw that this was supposed to be rated R, but it doesn't feel like it. Just
with everything that they've showed, I definitely think this is like PG-13 or M for us in Australia.
Probably.
But yeah,
I'm just waiting for someone to say fuck. That's because so far that's what I'm waiting for. I'm just waiting for someone to say fuck. It'll probably be Bucky. It could be Sam. I want them to save it because it would make sense. But
no, it's gonna be Batman.
Damn it, no. No.
But yeah, let's go. I think just the best way to go is just jump into episode 1 and then go into episode 2, of course. Now we're gonna start with episode 2 first. So we're gonna have no context. Let's just jump right into episode 2. So John Walker, pretty decent guy. Anyway, no.
There's a lot to talk about that. Oh dear God.
Yeah, it's yeah. So jumping into episode 1, I was kind of getting worried first 5 minutes of the episode because and not so worried that like I wasn't enjoying myself. The opening battle the opening fight scene of episode 1, or action set piece in general. It's not really. It's barely a fight scene, but like it's the opening action set piece of episode 1 was fun, and I like how there was the objective, there was the goal. I always like it. Like I mentioned in the season or series finale for WandaVision. I always like it when like there's like more to a fight than just like back and forths. In the case of like Wanda and Agatha, it was Wanda couldn't directly just brute force her way through Agatha. She had to like use her surrounding to attack her because Agatha can just drain her magic. So I always like when there's like a little twist to a battle. In this case, the twist of this action set piece is that, Falcon is trying to save this one guy, but he just constantly keeps, getting taken by the bad guys. And yeah, so, it was fun, but it was a little too, like, simple, and I was like, you know, the thing is, like, I've never been like I've always liked the martial artsy Winter Soldier Civil War stuff, like the Winter Soldier Civil War action set pieces, but they've never been my favorite in the MCU. So I was kind of worried that like the entire series would be like representative of that first action set piece, which I was wrong, which I'm happy about. You know, I liked it, but you know, I want to get more into like the meat and bones of the characters, which was like luckily for me, first episode after that point is basically entirely about freaking Sam and Bucky's lives. But what did you think of it?
The fight scene, not the fight scene. It was more like a mission rescue. I liked it. It was a nice reintroduction to Sam, and it was a lot of fun. I kind of like the way they were playing it because it was hard to tell for like some parts when they were the bad guys were jumping out from one plane wearing parachute gliders, and I couldn't tell if it was green screened or not. There were parts where it looked like they were filming in the air, but it was very well done, and I enjoyed it. It didn't have to go all out because it's just a nice reintroduction to Sam, what he does. I enjoyed it, but first episode, there's one issue it has for me for the whole first episode. Extreme close-ups of the of heads or faces from different parts. I kind of go, alright, a drinking game. Take a shot when you have extreme close-up of the head from any point. It was only in the first episode, then they got rid of it during the second. So,
I'm gonna be honest. The fucking film geek in me is like, that's some pretty good cinematography. Like, let's analyze like the freaking the faces in like that in that therapy scene. I'll come back to that when we talk.
It was so hard to look at that one.
Like, I think, okay, I'll talk about that more in like when we actually get to the therapy scene. But like, I actually did like the way they shot that scene. I honestly, I really love the way they shot a lot of this first episode. The cinematography in the second episode was also pretty good, but especially in the first episode, there were some fucking great shots, like really, really good shots. Like, this series is being shot way better than I actually was expecting. Like, because I'll say this, I love Civil War. Civil War is my second favorite. Civil War is my second favorite MCU movie, next to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. The cinematography for that movie isn't like the best. It's serviceable, it's fine, and there are some really good shots in it, like when you have like that freaking Civil War cover of Cap, like Cap lifting the shield up to like Tony, you know, blasting at him. But in general, it's not like the best cinematography in the series. It has some good shots in it, but overall, I can understand people who think that the cinematography is lesser compared to a lot of its contemporaries. This series, though, has been shot freaking beautifully. There was a shot later on in the episode where Bucky's going into like, he's going on his date, where he's walking into like the diner that he was at before, and like he's walking right, like from left to right, and he's in front of the window of the diner. And as he walks right, you see the police car just like follow him like through the reflection of the window. Oh. Shots like that are freaking brilliant. Like, this is what fucking like going to film school does to me. Like, I freaking pick up on this shit.
Okay, I didn't realize the police car was following him. I was wondering about that.
Yeah, like at first you just see the lights and like you see Bucky just like going from left to right, and you see the police car following him. That's such a minor touch, but I immediately picked up on that. I was like, I like that shot. I really like that shot.
It was a nice shot. There were some nice shots in it, but I hated the extreme head close-ups. Like, I think it could have been a different way, not like, but especially because it had like some blur factors to it. Those were the only ones I just didn't really much care for. Like I like the Sam head close up because that made sense. Just the couple shots in the therapy scene were good.
Like he's flying right. He's like flying right towards like the viewer because he's the Falcon.
Yeah, just the couple shots in the therapy scene. I'm just not a fan of how they did that.
I'll get back to that when we talk about the therapy scene because I actually am a fan of how they did that. But I'm just trying to see any other like miscellaneous points that I just get off the bat like right now. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Joaquin. Yeah.
on.
So go ahead.
I was gonna say, can we talk about how the bad guys in this are using a phone game to cause their carnage, where you have to use their camera app, the app in the game, to look around your surroundings until you find a handprint? Like, what the hell? That's so stupid.
I think the whole point is just like, oh, we're everywhere. It's, we're gonna leave our mark, and it's, I don't know. We'll talk about the flag smashers in episode 2. I more so in episode 2, because there is stuff with them in episode 1, but it's like mainly just setup with them. So I feel like we can mainly just talk about the flag smashers with episode 2.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, just some miscellaneous points are Joaquin Torres, the guy who's with Falcon.
Yeah.
He in the comics, he becomes the new Falcon once Sam takes up the mantle of Captain America. So yeah, that's just setting him up right here, because I was like, oh, this is a pretty chill military guy, and then he keeps showing up, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I mean, he's fine enough. I'm liking him all well and good.
Yeah, he's like a nice guy that's trying his best to help figure things out, and like someone has noted that he will, if he becomes the Falcon, he'd be the first Latina hero in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up because it's just good. Like, it's just good to keep having more Latino rep in these in these movies, especially because like a lot of, especially with coming up, we have like a lot of representation for like a lot of different like cultures and races. Like we have Shang-Chi coming up, which is of course Chinese. Miss Marvel coming up, of course Kamala is Muslim. Not a lot of Latino characters that I could think of. But then we get Joaquin Torres, who's the new Falcon coming up. And, or presumably the new Falcon coming up after Sam takes up the mantle.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have America Chavez coming in Doctor Strange 2. So, Marvel, just like doing that rep. They're doing their rep, and it's good. It's good. It's good to just represent all these different cultures and races. I think that's, wonderful of them to do so. Hopefully they don't screw anything up. I think the best way to not screw it up is to just get people like writers and directors and creators from those cultures to handle these characters.
Yeah.
That's of course the which they are doing with Miss Marvel, which is terrific. Because if it wasn't, if they weren't doing that, then I would have been like, there's way more room for error here. Not saying you have to be Muslim to write for Miss Marvel, but when like you're making a flagship show that's like centering around Muslim culture, it's going to very much help if you get Muslim people or Muslim creators to write for that show.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Yep. And then moving on from that, we of course got a cameo from Rhodey. Didn't know how big his part was going to be in this series. It's only a cameo from the looks of things, which is fine. It was good to see Don Cheadle again, especially because seems like it's going to be a little bit till Armor Wars.
Yeah. Though he has a talk with Sam, because Sam decides after 6 months, just instead of becoming the new Captain America, he decides to donate the shield to the Smithsonian. And it's like, I'm like, no, Sam, no, Steve gave you the shield. No, I was so sad.
You can very much tell, and like it does fit in line with like Sam's reaction from the end of Endgame. The end of Endgame, huh? It does fit in line because you can tell, like, because he immediately said, that line is the first thing we hear in this episode. How's it feel? Like it belongs to someone else.
Like that hurt.
Yeah, and Sam, and when Steve said it isn't, you can tell from Sam's face that like, this is something that Steve really wants, and like, so he says, thank you, I'll do my best. But like, from the way you could tell from like his expression, the way he delivered that, you could tell like it's very conflicting for him. And like, you see that from the very beginning of this episode, that just, Sam didn't want to like take up the mantle for his own reasons. And he says publicly that, you know, that these mantles should be defined by the people who take them up, and that's why there really shouldn't be a new Captain America. But there's a lot to suggest that, you know, especially going into the second episode,
Yes.
that there's a lot more reason as to why Sam doesn't want to take up the mantle than just, you know, oh, it was Steve's, I don't want to take that from him. There's a lot more going into that that we will get into as we go along.
Oh, no.
But I feel like his struggle with taking up that mantle is one of, you know, the best aspects of this series, which is good because, you know, Sam, for all intents and purposes, is like the main character of this show. So I feel like it was great to see his family life. I feel like it was great to, you know, meet his sister, meet his sister's kid, meet his nephews, and it's, yeah, I just love, like, you know, after, because here's my thing. When it comes to Sam and Bucky, I've never disliked them. I've always liked Sam. I felt like he was a good supporting cast. You know, one of those characters you never necessarily needed to delve into. One of those characters you never needed to, like, know more about. He was just a cool supporting character to, you know, to tag along with Steve. And, like, to have him be there and, like, you know, give emotional support. To, you know, be there as, like, a cool supporting character. That being said, now that Steve is gone, it's good that we're getting this development of this supporting character. And Bucky is someone who I've always wanted to like, and who until Civil War, I had a really hard time caring about. I feel like it wasn't until the end of Winter Soldier where I started to feel something for him. And then Civil War made me start to like him more and more. But I always wanted more to Bucky, because in First Avenger, that was one of my biggest problems with First Avenger, that, like, they kill him way too early. They kill him too early, and we don't get to see that friendship with Steve. And I felt like with this series, what I wanted most out of Bucky from it was just to see more of his trauma and to see more, like, to go more in depth with his character. And I love that they're actually giving that to us. And in regards to Sam, I just love how, especially in this first episode, we don't get to, like, the real meat and bones of it till episode 2. But in this first episode, we set up, you know, his financial struggles with, like, the boat, and, you know, his struggles with the mantle, like that all end up tying in come the second episode, and I just really love it. What do you think, Casey, in regards to Sam?
I mean, Sam is a very interesting character. I grew to like him when he was introduced in Winter Soldier, and he's grown to have his own sense of style when he was in Civil War, and especially with his own cameo in Ant-Man. That was just a lot of fun to see. And
it's real important that Cap never finds out about this.
No, but then I know a guy, bring in Ant-Man. But with Sam, this series, especially for him.
Shit.
Oh.
Sorry, I just bumped my mic. I'm sorry if the viewers heard that. I might cut that out, but I just bumped my mic there. Holy shit.
Now this will be future Phil's editing thing to just cut this out. Yeah, but for this series alone, this is going to be tackling the one thing that is desperately missing, and it's also shown in episode 2. It's more talking about race, because for Sam, yeah, Steve gave him the shield, but underlying very subtle way of why Sam didn't decide to become the new Captain America is because even though Steve thinks he's ready to be Captain America, the United States of America probably wouldn't, because it'd be weird for a black man to be Captain America. And now we'd be getting into a lot of stuff that Sam didn't want to deal with. Like,
yeah, I was gonna save this. I was gonna save this more for the second episode, but yeah, the fact that, like, race is one of the big, like, factors going into, like, Sam's struggle in, like, taking up the mantle. And there's a lot more of this in the second episode, but I definitely feel like, you know, a lot of these, you know, financial struggles also go into it, where it's like he's you know, he's like an everyday guy. He's like an everyday guy, and sure, he unlike John Walker, jumping the gun here, unlike John Walker, who never knew Steve. Like, you know, Sam has a lot of the qualifications. He has the spirit. He knew Steve. Steve knows and puts his trust into him. Yet, despite all this, Sam, above all else, is just, you know, another regular guy going through like this world, and you know, it's hard. It's hard. It would be hard to like struggle being Captain America, and plus going through all this, you know, personal life stuff.
Oh yeah. One example is when Sam is deciding with his benefits of him being like technically helping with the government to try and save his family's boat, like business with the old boat that his parents had with his sister. They go to the bank teller. The teller knows that he's Falcon. But apparently, even though he is working for the government, but because of the blip, they would not take any of his credentials. And yet the guy asked for another picture with him doing a pose. So it's like, it's more, that's also a shot for like veterans. What would happen to veterans trying to do this as well? Not just another racial part, but also something against veterans. People who've come back from the war, and this type of same things will help to them, not just for race, but also for what the banks won't do for these heroes that risk their lives, and they are given nothing in return. That's another issue there. And also knowing, looking at the blip is like, wait, so you're telling me the blip, if I disappeared 5 years, the bank shouldn't be closing my bank account if I'm gone? They shouldn't do that. But if they did, that means they closed the account with all my money. Give me back all my money. That's what I'm seeing here too. Just like, oh jeez, I don't want to live in a world where the blip happened, and like I don't want to picture that. That's just scary.
Yeah, it's horrible. We'll delve more into like the race stuff with Sam going into the second episode.
Yeah.
But the only other parts to like really delve into with this first episode is Bucky. Going back to like the therapy scene, that's like my second favorite scene in the episode. The first is my favorite scene of the entire episode is when Bucky goes to Mr. Nakajima's house, and he sees like the picture of his son who died, and he realizes, oh, it's the guy, like because he had that sneaking suspicion the entire time, or it's either no. Is it he had this he knew he knew the entire time?
He knew the entire time.
Yeah, because he had Mr. Nakajima on the list. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more he didn't want to say it while they're, because the shrine to his son is still like a way to for some people who are grieving to remember, and it's like almost as though the soul's there. So Bucky didn't want to do that because he felt like the soul of the son he had killed was watching too. Because the reason this happened is because we are first shown a reintroduction to Bucky, where Bucky has a nightmare of when he was the Winter Soldier under Hydra's control, where he does a Kool-Aid Man, oh yeah, breaking through a wall, and then he kills his target. But then, of course, there's an unfortunate victim where kill all witnesses and kills him. And so
it was a great way to like begin Bucky's arc across the series, and it was a great way to like show more. Like, it was a great way to reintroduce us to him by essentially showing us what we like mainly know him as, that being the Winter Soldier, not really, you know, James Lieutenant Barnes.
Yeah. And not to mention, like, people forget that yes, he has a vibranium arm, but also it's pretty much implied that he should basically have no command or control anymore from Hydra, because Shuri made sure, because she's a very, very intelligent young woman, that she was able to get it all out of Bucky's head. So we're liking the fact that the end of the second episode is bring someone back. Where I'm really hoping we're gonna see something, but I'll say that when we do the end of episode 2.
It's and that therapy scene. Going back to like the cinematography of the therapy scene, the reason why I like it is because, you know, you can tell like this is like way too personal for Bucky. He doesn't want to be doing this, and which is why, you know, the camera being up close to Bucky's face and up close to his therapist's face. I can't remember her name, but the fact that it's like so up close to their faces is like, it kind of accentuates the fact that like this is like so personal, and like it's too personal for Bucky, and it's something that he doesn't really want to be doing, but it's something that he kind of has to force himself to do, which is why the camera is like really up close to their faces. I thought that was a really good like I felt like it was really interesting and like neat cinematography thing that they did there. Again, I just really love the cinematography in this episode. Like when Bucky's walking down the hallway to like when he's going to Mr. Nakajima, when he's walking down that hallway, like the lighting there with the blue, it was fantastic. Just the lighting and cinematography in this series, primarily in the first episode, although the second episode also had some top-notch stuff. I really liked it. And yeah, the therapy scene in general is just fantastic. One line in particular that like hit me was, if you are alone, that is the quietest, most personal hell. She said that, and I was like, that hits way too close to home. Like, as someone whose biggest fear is being alone, yeah, that could not be any closer to the truth. And like, you know, Bucky like claims he wants peace, but like she said, it's bullshit. It's like you can't just live your entire life, you know, secluding yourself. And part of getting better is, yes, it's leaving. Part of moving on and getting better and redeeming yourself is leaving the people who you hurt alone, but it's also having other people in your life to help you grow. And Bucky like can't just be alone, because that's just a completely other, you know, if you're just alone, nothing's going to change. You're just going to wallow in your misery like forever and ever. And that's something that's just completely like hit close to home for me. And it's way too real, man. It's way too real.
Yeah. I mean, for Bucky, he decides for his own way of peace is to try and have a little booklet of all the names that he can remember that were either still members of Hydra or living people that were victims, that family members that he accidentally killed. Like, we get to see a scene where he actually takes out a congresswoman, doesn't really kill her. I love that this Bucky, who's over 100 years old, has managed to actually find a way to control an iPad, to hook a device to control a car remotely, knocks the hitman out, and has the police called to have her formally arrested for being a former Hydra agent. Like,
it's great. I just love that scene because like, and the fucking forced smile on Bucky's face was priceless.
Yeah. Also, I love how, I don't know if it's the makeup department, but Sebastian Stan just looks like he's just so tired as Bucky. I don't know who did a good.
I mean, I wouldn't blame him. Wouldn't blame him at all.
Yeah, no. I just look at him. Well, get in fact, he's just been sleeping on the floor. Like, I look twice in 2 episodes. I'm like, Bucky, you have a bed. Go sleep in your bed. Why are you sleeping on your floor? It's not comfy. You have furniture. You have an armchair and a couch. Sleep on that.
Yeah, it's... Bucky's story, I'm gonna be honest, although I've loved Sam's story, like, Bucky's story in this series is probably so far been my favorite part of the series, especially with the stuff we got in the first episode. Just goddamn, it just hit me so hard. It hit me so goddamn hard. And then, of course, we, ramp up to the end of the episode where we get, the government, being dicks and being like, hey, so we actually are having a new Captain America. Meet John Walker, this rando military guy who is gonna be the next Captain America.
Yeah, and
that's how we end episode 1. It's a great way to end episode 1. I thought it was a good.
I love that the instant memes from that episode is that John Walker with the helmet on with that shot looks like Carl from Up, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna get that on my face. And I actually had to look up John Walker after that episode because I'm like, who is this guy? And I read it. I'm like, oh. And I read the character's biography in comics. I'm like, this guy's an asshole.
They've toned him down a lot when it comes to this series. We'll get to that at the start of episode 2 actually, because as we start episode 2, I want to mainly talk about John Walker. But just on episode 1 very quickly to cap that off. But just to wrap it up with the beginning of episode 1, episode 1. I really loved episode 1. It surprised me how much I loved it. Like I knew I was gonna like it because I like Falcon, I like Bucky. I was probably gonna like it, but man, I loved episode 1. It was so good. I can't decide. I'm just jumping the gun here again. I can't decide whether episode 1 or 2 is like my favorite when comparing the two to each other. They're just so good. Such good episodes.
I enjoyed the first episode. It's a nice reintroduction to the characters and sets a lot of stuff that was going to happen. And I'm just like, oh, this is gonna be fun. But then I'm just hope that people aren't gonna theorize it. People are trying to theorize the mutants are in this. I'm like, no, stop. There's no mutants. Stop it.
Oh, shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up. Like I played that clip from Pikami, which is a VTuber. I played that clip from her when I saw that freaking tweet. I forgot what website it was, but when I saw that tweet from that freaking website, that was like, oh, how Falcon and the Winter Soldier could introduce mutants. How? I just posted that clip where it's just Pikami just saying,
oh, shut the fuck up, you shut the fuck up.
It's like, can we not, please, can we just not have fucking all these theories going on? I like how we mainly haven't been getting that, because the series isn't a mystery series. It is pretty straightforward. It is mainly about the plot and the characters. So luckily the series isn't exactly encouraging theories and such.
Yeah.
But goddamn, people just need to shut the fuck up. They kept badgering on about WandaVision because of this shit.
Okay. It's especially when people keep thinking, Ralph Bohner is just probably Quicksilver, Evan Peters, how do you get superpowers? No, the necklace around his neck that Agatha enchanted gave him temporary powers. It's not that hard to figure out. It's not that hard. He kind of he's not. No, Evan Peters even said he wanted to just do this, but just because it was fun, and that's it. So it's but. Episode 2.
Yeah.
John
going into
Walker.
Going into episode 2. It's already having a lot of episode 2. I was interested to see what they do with episode 2. What I'm surprised about, because in case you're not familiar with John Walker from the comics, John Walker from the comics is essentially conservative Captain America. And if you hear the phrase conservative Captain America and instantly just say, oh no, then it's just as bad as you're fucking thinking.
It is bad.
He is such a bigoted racist in the comics. And what I was surprised about was that this series has mellowed him out so much. He is complete. No, because they actually do make him sympathetic in the first few minutes. I was talking to this with Seraphim and Zen, and yeah, it's strange how they've made him more sympathetic. Now, I don't think that they're gonna like hold to that the entire series. I feel like they are gonna eventually make him more of an antagonist, especially if they're gonna pass the mantle on to Sam by the end of the series.
Yeah, especially because it's been spoiled in toys that Sam will become Captain America, so we know that's gonna happen.
Well, you don't even need like spoilers from toys to like figure that out. It's more so like, well, of course they're gonna make Sam Captain America. Like, they're not gonna just like, Marvel's not just gonna do that. They're not giant dicks like that. But I do love how like they're not just going all out and making John Walker just a flat out like conservative, like bigot. How they are actually presenting him more in a sympathetic light. And I would have just taken US Agent being like, because that's of course the mantle he takes up after having been Captain America. I would have just taken him being, a douchebag bigot who, like, by the end of the show, Sam can beat up. But they're not doing that. And I'm completely fine with that because they're showing that this is just some random guy who, granted, does have an impressive military background where he won 3 Medals of Honor. He has a lot of credentials that would seemingly fit him into the part. But here's what I love about John Walker so far. It's that, and this is like reflected in his first scene, where he's just some random guy who, yes, he may have this background to him, but he's just some random military guy who, got saddled with the role of Captain America. And you can see right up front with the first scene that, it's really like, he doesn't know how to handle it. He's practicing, trying to like be Captain America. And it's very much a thing of like the government just saw John Walker and they were like, that's our guy. That's the perfect poster child for like who should be the next Captain America.
Yeah, and he's on like in peak physique to the point where he's not a super soldier. He's just very good. Though I just kind of look at this guy and I'm kind of like, yeah, no, you're reading asshole vibes to me. Not just for good other reasons. Ugh.
Well, that comes in more like later on in the episode where this is where I feel like they're gonna go with his story, where I feel like, either he realizes that the mantle is too much for him, or where I think it's probably gonna go, maybe it gets a little too much to his head, and that's where he becomes US Agent. So, because as we see later on, like although I do feel sympathy with him because he's just some random schmo, and I love how that actually like translates into his choreography as well. Like, whereas Captain America, whereas Steve would have been able to like jump up from like, because there was that point where John was like hanging off from the truck, whereas Steve would have just been able to like jump and like just keep going. It was clearly like a struggle for like John to like get up from that. It's his work regimen is impressive, but he's no Steve Rogers, and he's not trying to be Steve Rogers. But then you have those lines where it's like, oh, Steve feels like a brother to me, or he tells
yeah.
or he mentions how like it would be great if he had Steve's wingman with him, or
like,
lines like that where you could tell it's starting to a little bit get to his head.
Yeah.
And you can tell that he's like just trying to roll with it. But there are like, very clear signs that by the end of the series, all of this could very well, be going past just he's trying to do the best he can to, okay, now he's starting to like, really become a government stooge, which you could argue he already is. Yeah. But I feel like more so it's, the government being douches and just picking their ideal Captain America, not really the fault of Walker. At least right now.
I mean, not to mention that, as I mentioned earlier, he struggled to get up on the truck. Him with the shield. When you had Steve toss the shield, he would ricochet it, and then he would get it back, or used it in creative ways. What does John Walker do? Toss. His opponent. It comes right back. Toss. His opponent. It comes right back. He's not doing anything to make him stand out because he can't do those things that Steve did.
And it's, yeah, I'm really liking how they're handling John Walker's character up until now. It was, again, I would have been completely, like, fine with, like, if John Walker was just, you know, I would have been completely fine if John Walker was just, you know, bigoted Captain America, and, like, it's just someone by the end of the series, like, Sam could just punch the shit out of. But, like, I do like this take a little bit more, I'm gonna be honest, because, like, you know, it's showing that, you know, at least right now, John isn't someone who is just, you know, who's just completely a government stooge right from the beginning, who is, like, you know, who is trying to do the best with this role, although it's starting to go to his head a little bit.
Not to mention, when he's introduced on Good Morning America, the band that plays, oh my god, I cannot remember that type of band, but it's like a all-American black performance band. And it's Straw Hat Goofy on TikTok did a great video analyzing that scene alone, because Sam didn't take up the mantle. Sometimes part of the cultures, like for Sam's culture, it can always be sapped away to be used for like a white hero. And so for John Walker being like introduced with the music by this group made of entirely like African American people, so it's like this is so weird and awkward, like it should be Sam, but no, it's a white man.
Yeah, and I was actually gonna bring that up. I was gonna wait till like we get to like Sam more so, but like I may as well cover it.
Well, the thing is, that part does cover a little bit more of John Walker for him being the new Captain America. Because it's important for John Walker's character.
Yeah, it is. I didn't even like really think about that. That's like a really good touch. But like it only adds to like the fact that like another big like thing another big thing about this series so far that just makes me go like fuck you to the government of the MCU is just like how, like, you know, Sam is struggling with this whole, like, you know, race issue of like one of the reasons why he didn't take up the shield was because, you know, he feels like as an African American man he can't, like, you know, America wouldn't want to see a black man become the next Captain America. There's actually a really good quote by Anthony Mackie in regards to this, where he said, Sam questions how he can represent a country that doesn't represent him. And I feel like that encapsulates perfectly, you know, what's happening like with like so far in these two episodes, where, you know, Sam decides to decline the mantle, and who does the government get to be the new Captain America? Why, it's like the most, like, it's like an everyday, like, all-American who's white, and, you know, has, like, you know, the perfect military background, and, you know, it's the military's ideal Captain America, aka...
a white man.
A white guy.
White
guy, yeah.
Who apparently, I didn't know that he's the son of Kurt Russell. And once that was mentioned, I'm like, okay, there is a bit of a resemblance. Oh my. But, I mean, I think the second episode did a very good job, a lot more, because now we get to finally see Sam and Bucky together, where Bucky just crashes on Sam's mission. So, and
yeah, because he sees, I love the fucking scene. Like, this is actually another good point of like cinematography. I'm just completely talking about cinematography today, like, because I'm just in the mood.
It's all good.
But yeah, it's I love like when the start of the episode when like Bucky's in his apartment and like John Walker mentions like, you know, oh, you know, he feels like a brother, and Sam's just like in this room, just completely isolated with like this empty space next to him, and it's like. He's kind of has that expression like, how fucking dare you? It's like, how dare you say he feels like a brother? It's like, I love that scene. And I love, as the episode goes on, I love how, you know, the reintroduction of Bucky like coming back into like Sam's life is you know, him saying like, you had no right to give up the shield, now look at what they're doing. and I also love the scene where it's just like he's saying, let's take the shield. Let's just take it. And Sam just has to go, dude, no. Like, you know what happened the last time we took the shield? We were on the run for 2 years.
And
it's not going to happen again.
And Sharon's still on the run. And she'll be coming later in this season. She's just been on the run for, oh my god, 7 years now.
Unless she was snapped.
But still. And I think my favorite scenes was like when right before they get on the plane. When they're on the plane, you get to see they're far apart from each other. And there's not much to say. And Bucky's like, do you have a plan? And Sam's like, I got a plan. Jumps out the window. And then Bucky follows suit where Taurus is like, that's pretty low. That's 200 feet. And Bucky's like, I got it. Rips off his sleeve. And he just jumps. And he falls. And then Sam's like, I had red wing. Did you know that was recorded right now? like we're going to finally get a little bit more characterization with these two, because as I watched like the Marvel recap stuff about some of the characters and seeing like the recap.
It's about like Marvel Legends.
Yes, because it's nice little like refreshers for stuff. Because it's basically those are just refreshers for when the new stuff comes out.
Yeah.
But I forgot that their smallest chemistry is just a couple scenes where they don't like each other in the car. They talk with each other when they're fighting Spider-Man. It's like, why couldn't you send Red Wing out earlier? He's like, you know I hate you, right? And just like... And then of course
they had that like interaction at the end of Endgame very briefly.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's good to see them like finally like talk more, because like these are two characters who aren't like best friends. They're more like acquaintances.
Yeah.
You know, so it's good to see like that their relationship does like come back to like the shield and stuff.
Not to mention they do bring up Steve. Like, why don't you give Steve a call? Meaning that Steve is still alive. Like, which is cool, but also I'm kind of like, I'd be sad to see if old man Steve makes a tiny cameo in this. Oh dear God, I hope not. I would be sad. But like, we get to see more of their interactions with each other through the mission, where apparently what's the enemy's called? Flagstaff? Is it for
Flag Smashers?
Oh my god, I cannot remember the name of this group. I'm tired. Where the Flag Smashers apparently it has been discovered that they seem to be super strong. Yeah, it turns out they are somehow managed to acquire a perfected super soldier serum, so all of them are super soldiers trying to fix the world, and they were seeing like vaccines or something. And at first they thought there was a hostage situation on the trucks. Nope, it was a trap because they saw them. And I just love that I don't remember her name. What is her name? She has the curly...
Her name was... I have it written down somewhere here.
Because she's apparently like the main leader of the group.
Carly. That's her name.
Yeah, she was the girl that passed out the mask in the very first episode, but she acted...
You'd only be able to notice by her hair.
By her hair.
And like her hair was like tied back in this one.
But it's very
and, like,
curly.
Kind of covered in shadow.
But it was very curly though. So you can't... I noticed the curliness right away. I'm like, I'm going to find a curly redhead. And I found her. I'm like, oh look, there she is. Like, and what did she do? She just like... a fight scene on two trucks, and when it got to the two trucks on the sides of each other with Bucky and Sam on one truck, and then John Walker and oh my god, what is his best friend's name? I don't remember.
I can't remember. All I remember is that it was so bad that like Bucky just immediately just said, "Okay, stop the car. I'm out of here."
Yeah, no, like.
I think it was like Battlestar.
Oh yeah, because also in the comics, he was the new Bucky. In the comics to John Walker's character in the comics, but when both of them are on the trucks fighting these bad guys, all I'm picturing when I'm watching the scene is, okay, who watched Gang Beast? Who watched a playthrough of Gang Beast? Because that's what I'm thinking about the Game Beast is where
Lol.
where you have like two trucks on the side, you're jumping from one truck to another, trying to not fall. That's what I was picturing the whole entire time when I was watching this battle scene.
It's
And
it's just the fact,
so
and going what I want, what I was like alluding to before, how I said we were gonna get to the Flag Smashers in episode 2. I really don't think the Flag Smashers are gonna be like the head honchos of this entire series, like the main bad guys.
They're not.
I don't even think it's gonna be Zemo. I think Zemo's gonna be like a big antagonist of this series, but I feel like as if the Flag Smashers, due to the fact that like both because we know that that a lot of that like most of them are like super soldiers, and but we don't know how they became super soldiers. Like, didn't they die when Zemo killed them back in Civil War?
No.
So they've somehow been able to get these super soldier powers. And it's kind of due to that, and also due to the fact that like they're not like straight up villains. They do have like a cause that they want to like achieve. It's just that like
it's a weird
their
cause.
It's a weird cause, like, because everything was better like before the blip.
No,
which,
it was
like,
everything was better when half of the universe vanished.
which of course it wasn't.
No.
But to them, because like how the population got like sliced, it's it did make things, I guess, technically better for like the people who stuck around like within those 5 years.
Yeah, except
like,
it also cut a bunch of animals too, so there was like low stock in food.
yeah, it's like not only that, but like emotionally, like a lot of people's loved ones just vanished. A lot of people's close friends, and like a lot of people like who are needed for the world just was straight up gone. So although there are a lot of aspects that could technically be better, overall it's it's hard to really say, oh yeah, things were better during the blip or before the blip. It's yeah, it's definitely a cause that you can understand, but you can also be like, no,
Yeah,
no, I don't.
I kind of look at these guys. I'm like, no. Good at fact that from the Funko Pops he released of Falcon the Winter Soldier, I know that the Baron, I think he's Baron or something. He's gonna be showing up sometime, and I know he's the true villain.
Baron Zemo.
Yeah. No wait. I think Baron Zemo could be the actual main antagonist. He's gonna find a way to break out of that jail cell.
It's like, and like the thing is, like it's shaping up right now. Like, oh, Zemo's gonna be the main bad guy. I really don't think so. Like, I think that it's a red herring. I could be wrong. Maybe Zemo is gonna be like the very final antagonist for the entire series.
Mm-hmm.
I'm leaning more towards John Walker himself. But we'll just have to end up seeing.
Yeah.
So I think Zemo would be too obvious of a pick to be like the final villain of the series.
Oh,
But
yeah.
we'll just have to see on that.
Especially when I already forgot her name. This is how the Flag Smashers are kind of like,
Kali.
Kali. When Kali gets a text that someone, we don't know who, people are guessing it could be John Walker, but saying that I know that you took what was rightfully mine. I will find you. And get the fact that John Walker has been trying to keep an eye on these people, because he has government technology. Sam and Bucky are just freelancers. You could do whatever you want. I could do what I have because I'm the government.
That just made me think of something, actually. What if the reason why, if it is John Walker who's messaging her, what if that's the reason, like, what if one of the reasons why he's pissed and, like, why he's tracking them is because he wants the super soldier serum, and the Flag Smashers have just taken it for themselves? What if that's one of the big reasons why he's pissed at them?
I feel like that could be it, because, like, they were able to get the powers of Captain America, and he doesn't. He's like the most perfected, well, in quotes, perfected person without the super soldier serum. But the thing is,
well, because he got the actual super soldier serum though, like not a replica made by Howard Stark or whatever. He had the actual original super soldier serum, so that definitely helps.
Yeah, but if it is that, or he found some way to perfect it, because after that encounter, Bucky takes Sam to someone important. Someone of why one good reason why there was a black Captain America, but things happen. Take it away, Phil.
Yeah, I did not recognize this guy right from the get-go because I barely knew of his existence from the comics, but then I looked up and I was like, oh shit, no kidding. So, Isaiah, I forget his last name, but Isaiah, he was at one point in the comics a black Captain America. He was the first black Captain America before Sam Wilson became Captain America.
Yes.
He was his introduction here in this series basically shows I don't know if he was a Captain America per se, like in the past, but it definitely like establishes that he was a super soldier, and he was around.
Like he was able to rip Bucky's arm.
Yeah, he was able to rip Bucky's arm off, and he and Bucky fought back when Bucky was still with Hydra, and back in the mid-50s. And it's definitely implied that he was maybe, if not a Captain America, if he wasn't Captain America, then he was like somewhat of like a similar kind of hero where he was like, you know, a big like symbol because he had the super soldier serum, and yet despite his heroism and despite everything he did, he got locked up for 30 goddamn years, you know, and. So he could get tested, like, because he had the super soldier serum, and they just constantly kept taking his blood, and, you know, a big reason why is because he was a black guy.
Yeah.
And because, you know, if it had been a white guy, they probably would not have been as harsh on him, but, you know, since he was a black guy, and this was the 1900s...
No, it was...
exactly...
Yeah, it was 1950s, and during that time, during the civil rights... Yeah. Fun.
Yeah, it was... Yeah. And we also did see his grandson, Eli, who in the comics is Patriot.
Which is probably going to be foreshadowing for this kid to become Patriot, because if...
Young Avengers. Yeah, because if we're leading to Young Avengers, then, like, we've already set up Speed and Wiccan. We've already set up... we're already going to be setting up Kate Bishop. We're already going to be setting up America Chavez.
And
you know,
not to mention, Peter Parker is still like in high school, so he will be probably the leader. I don't think he's gonna be in Young Avengers. I feel like because I'm still of the belief that there's gonna be two Avengers teams. There's gonna be the main adult Avengers team that ends up popping up, and then Young Avengers. Well, he's still technically a teenager, so.
Well, here's the thing. There have been rumors recently that Marvel and Sony are thinking of transitioning Peter to college and introducing Miles Morales as another Spider-Man in this series. So if they were to do that, then that would like serve more credence to what I'm thinking of. Peter's going to be a part of the main Avengers team, and then maybe Miles could be introduced for Young Avengers.
We'll see.
Because I'm also thinking they're going to repurpose Kamala and Riri into being a part of the Young Avengers, even though they weren't originally in the comics. That being said, I do think that they are taking this opportunity to set up a lot of OG Young Avengers members from the comics, such as Speed, Wiccan, Kate Bishop, America Chavez, and then maybe Hulkling, because Hulkling does have his relationship with Wiccan in the comics, so I'm fully expecting that to happen.
We'll see what happens there, but with that revelation, like, Sam was wondering, why did no one say anything? Why did the governor not say anything? Because Isaiah is black. And you know what immediately happens as he's having this verbal fight with Bucky? A police car pulls up and tries to arrest Sam.
It's like one of the most uncomfortable scenes. Like, it's one of the most uncomfortable scenes in, I think, all the MCU, because it's like, we have Falcon, who is like this hero, who is like this Avenger, and even still, he gets like a police officer stopping him to be like, and he turns to Bucky, like, is this guy bothering you? And Bucky's like, do you not know who this fucking guy is?
Like, he asked for his ID until he's like, Bucky's like, do you not know who this is? And once they know, oh, you're Falcon, like, they pull off, and it's like, I'm like, I've seen this done in so much different media. Not to mention, when I watched this scene, I was thinking of Get Out, where our only black main character gets he doesn't get pulled by cops. They had called to hit a deer, and his girlfriend thinks that the cops being a racist, asking for a lot of this stuff. But again, like I would say more, but spoilers. But
yeah, I haven't seen Get Out yet.
That's why I'm not gonna say. That's why I didn't want to say it. But if Phil, see Get Out when you can. An audience, if you haven't seen it, please see it. It's actually a very good film. It's very good. Like, the second place. We've all been there. But it's like that scene was just so hard. And then it's like, okay, Sam's fine. But then the police are like, hey, you missed your government therapy session. You're arrested, Buggy. We're sorry. And I'm like, wait, what? Because he missed his government therapy. He has to be arrested. And I'm like,
yeah, just on Sam for a little bit. Just on Sam a little bit more for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like this scene, as well, like the scene with the cops, as well as the scene with Isaiah, as well as actually, you know what? Yeah, the therapy scene with Sam and Bucky, where Sam just says, you and Steve just could never understand like why I decided not to take up the mantle. It just all ties into the fact that, like, even with Falcon, like, even with Sam being a hero, it's like, much like Isaiah, it doesn't stop this country from, like, completely just not... It doesn't stop it from, like, still discriminating against him. And that's Sam's entire struggle with being Captain America. It's like, how can he be Captain America, and how can he represent a country that just doesn't represent him, and just completely, like, discriminates against people like him? And there's like a lot of, you know, those words being thrown around, like people like you, and it's like my people going around in this episode, and it's like, and you know. But for some of it, Bucky clarifies, you know, that Isaiah is talking about Hydra. But for other lines, you can very easily tell that it's like, you know, that this is like they're not just gonna like brush this like under the rug and pretend like this isn't an issue in regards to, like, you know, these like people like Isaiah and Sam trying to be like these symbols for America, because it's like, how can they be symbols when, like, a lot of Americans just are gonna, like, are just gonna completely discriminate against people like them. It's especially the government, who, once again, their replacement for Captain America was like, was just like this all-around everyday white guy who, you know, who like has like the face to sell to America. It's yeah.
Sorry, the way that when they also brought with John Walker is that I'm just like, a white man. Oh. And he has blonde hair. I don't know his colored eyes, and I'm just like...
He probably has blue eyes. But yeah, it's... I feel like we've come to the point where a lot of our points have been have been addressed. Episode 2 in general is, especially due to like the stuff with Isaiah and the stuff with Sam and the cops, that those scenes and Bucky's like struggle with, like, you know, why Sam would ever give up the shield, that stuff really elevates this episode. And it's, yeah, it's just episodes 1 and 2 just remain like consistently amazing with one another. And yeah, I love it. I honestly love it way more than I thought it would. And if it remains this quality across the entire series, then this, much like WandaVision, this could like end up shooting up there, like with some of my favorite MCU stuff. It's really terrific. Like, honestly terrific.
Oh, I think I enjoyed episode 2 a lot more than the first episode, because like we finally get to have Sam and Bucky together. We get to know more about John Walker. We get to know more about the Flag Smashers. We're getting to know so much more, and it's just, I'm very excited what they're going to have in store. Plus, also at the very end, Bucky and Sam are going to see Zemo, and I'm like, oh, the last time we saw this
another
guy
good cliffhanger.
On a cliffhanger, but the last time we saw this guy was at the end of Civil War, where he managed to dissemble the Avengers. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's great that we're seeing Zemo again. Can't wait to see him with the sock.
You mean the mask?
Yeah,
What?
yeah, the purple sock.
Aw, don't be mean to him. At least the actor's very happy he gets to do more with his character. So that's very good. But
No, I'm really happy. I loved Zemo in Civil War. I thought that he was a lot of people say his plan was convenient. I really don't think it was all that convenient. I think a lot of people are like stretching when it comes to that. A lot of people thought that like that film didn't need a villain. I can understand it, but like I still ended up loving it. I can't wait to see Zemo for the remainder of the series. I hope they don't kill him, because again, build up your rogues gallery. Build up the rogues gallery for the MCU so you have villains to recycle for like the future, so you can have a Thunderbolts movie, you know?
I mean,
So-
we will have Loki as the next series too, so I mean, that'll be an alternate universe Loki, but that'll still be a Loki. Oh, that's gonna be fun if he comes back in the third Thor film, and Thor's like, brother, and it's not good Loki, it's bad Loki still. That's gonna
Yeah.
be fun. I'm okay with
gonna-
that.
I'm gonna be honest. I kind of hope Thor: Love and Thunder doesn't have Loki in it, because I'm like, there's already so much to that movie. You know, you have Sif, you have Jane coming back as the Mighty Thor. You have the Guardians in the movie. You have Gore the God Butcher. You have Valkyrie, who's still in the movie. You have all these different elements. So I'm kind of hoping Loki's not in it.
Yeah, we'll see.
You know?
Well, I don't know. We'll see. But again, the behind-the-scenes pictures have a Valkyrie in the wonderful suit she's wearing, and she has her Pegasus. I'm okay with this. Also, buff Jane Foster. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
But
Man.
Falcon.
Yeah,
Falcon and Winter
I've loved episodes 1 and 2 of
Yeah,
Falcon
same
and the
here.
Soldier. It's going great so far. Again, if it keeps this quality up for the remainder of the series, it's gonna be another one of my favorites, just like WandaVision.
Yeah, this one only has like 6 episodes, right?
Yeah, it's Kevin Feige's clarified that either these series are gonna be split. These Disney Plus shows for Marvel for the MCU are gonna fit into one or two categories. Either they're gonna be like around 10 episodes. In WandaVision it was 9, but like around 10 episodes with each episode being half an hour long, or they're gonna be 6 episodes with each episode being around 40 to 50 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, Falcon and the Winter Soldier fits into that category.
Loki, we won't know until it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But with that being said, that was the first podcast for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I guess at this point we have 4 more left, since we covered 1 and 2 in a single video. With that being said, thank you, Casey, for joining me once again for another Phasing Forward podcast.
No problem. It's the least I can do, and I will sleep after this whole entire thing. Yay.
Yes, please sleep. You 8 hours shift. Goddamn, just please get some sleep. Get some sleep.
Yee.
Yeah. With that being said, guys, next.
Oh, sorry.
With that being said, guys,
sorry. I just think of Sleepy Kana. Sleepy Kana's tired.
just sleepy Kana. Yeah, definitely fits Kana.
Yeah.
With that being said, guys, next week I'm going to be having another guest, because again, Zen can't exactly be recording anything at the moment, since her laptop is currently getting repaired. So next week, it'll be the other person who has already joined me in the past for Phasing Forward. If you've been following Phasing Forward up till now, you'll know who that is.
Ooh.
If not, then go back and see WandaVision's podcasts. I don't even know I'm keeping it a secret. It's Michelle, but you know.
Yeah.
So so Michelle will, if everything goes right, Michelle will be joining me next week for Phasing Forward for Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 3. Then for episode 4, we don't exactly know what's happening yet, because we don't know if Zen's laptop will be in by then or not. Fingers crossed. If not, then Michelle will probably be joining me again, and if she can't make it for that, then I'll probably ask you again, Casey. But yeah, we'll just have to see.
Yeah.
Zen should definitely be ready, or she should definitely be good for episodes 5 and 6. Although if she can't make it for episode 4, I feel like we'll probably either have you or Michelle just stick it out with us for the remainder of the series. Just because, if we're going to have you for multiple podcasts anyway, we may as well have you for the remainder of the series. I think it's only fair. But yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
So with that being
we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how yeah, we'll see how it goes. With that being said, everyone, I'm Philip.
I'm Casey.
And I shall catch you guys next week for another podcast for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.